Hazel let Bigwig's rudeness pass. It was only natural for him to be on edge at this time. In fact, the whole party was in the same mood, and he saw a little distraction was needed. Dandelion was called on, but perhaps because of the tension in the air, there was disagreement about which story should be told. After several suggestions had been made, and none accepted, Bigwig spoke up.
There's only one story I want. Ella and the Black Rabbit of Inlay.
Perhaps not that one, Bigwig.
If there's going to be a story, haven't I got as much right as anyone to choose it?
Hazel said nothing to that, and after a short pause, Dandelion began the story in a subdued voice. For it was a grim tale indeed, about Ella visit to the remote cave, where sickness and death in all its forms were kept in the gloomy chambers of black rock, watched over by the shadowy guards of the Black Rabbit. Ella had gone there in desperation. His warren was under siege by King Darzen's troops, and all his rabbits were weak and starving. He had hoped to offer his life in exchange for the safety of the warren, but the Black Rabbit had shown no interest in the bargain. Then he had tried to beat his dark host at games and storytelling, only to lose his whiskers, tail, and long silky ears. He had even tried to infect himself with the white blindness, but the Black Rabbit had again turned the tables on him by telling him that the disease was carried by the fleas in rabbits' ears, and Ella had lost his. That had broken his spirit. He lay on the cold, dark floor of the cave, unable to move, and the Black Rabbit had seen that the only way to get his visitor to leave would be to save his people. So for once, Ella had not succeeded by trickery, but by self-sacrifice. And when he returned to his warren, Frith appeared to him, and rewarded him with a new tail, new whiskers, and new ears, with starlight in them. Very faint, but starlight nonetheless.
Kee-haw! It's time.
Up there in the sky, I see sun peeping at me from over the hills. He says, "Those bloody rabbits, they still asleep."
I'm awake. Captain Bigwig.
I'm awake, too.
Didn't you sleep?
When I did sleep, I was fighting patrols. Blasted rabbits popping up everywhere.
You won, I hope.
Every bloody time, as Kee-haw would say.
Hazel, I think you better go across bridge with the captain.
What for? There's no need for Hazel.
There is something on the other side. I think he should see. Understand? Something I find. Very good. Well, I think you like.
All right. Why not?
Can I come too? I'm as wide awake as you are.
Then we'll see Captain Bigwig on his way. What is this something, Kee-haw?
You will see when you get there.
It was a small punt, a flat-bottomed boat, and men used it when cutting reeds. One end rested on the bank, held in place by a rope. Around the other end, the water swirled. This end swung from side to side.
It floats.
Like that piece of wood, remember? The one we sat Pipkin on.
Hazel was remembering the day after they'd left Sandalford, which all seemed so long ago now. They had bundled poor frightened Pipkin onto a piece of wood and floated him across the water to escape from a dog. But he was puzzled now, and could not think why Kee-haw was so pleased with himself.
Very good, don't you think?
Yes. But what has it got to do with us?
Oh, don't you see? That boat, it...
Something disturbed them. Yes, you see it.
Many rabbits live and die without seeing a fox, and few actually fall victim to an enemy whose rank smell gives good warning and who cannot run as fast as they can. This fox, sandy brown with darker ears and legs, came up from the river some distance away. If he did know they were there, he ignored them. He trotted steadily like a dog, trailing his white-tipped brush, and went into the bushes.
There goes one foxy that won't be having duck for dinner.
Or rabbit either, my Frith. Well, Hazel?
Yes, Bigwig?
Seems funny. After all my training, here I go into those bushes and trees. I'm going to make as much noise as I can. Who'd have believed it? Well, it has to be done.
You'll stay close to the warren, Kehoe.
Ah, that was the arrangement.
And you let us know, as soon as you can, how Captain Bigwig is doing.
I good flyer, pretty damn quick flyer, you know that.
Well, good luck to both of you. And don't forget, Kehoe, it's Bigwig who gets caught. If you get caught, we're done for.
Me? Get caught? Kehoe too clever for any bloody rabbit any day. Oh, well, no offense, of course.
No offense. Now off you go, the pair of you.
Silver and Hazel squatted beside the boat, saw the seagull go off over the treetops, saw Bigwig hesitate on the edge of the forest. He sat erect, testing the air for the smell of other rabbits. Then, like Kehoe, he was out of sight.
Hazel, don't you think it's time we went back?
Yes. I suppose so, Sergeant.
What was that? The fox. Would the fox have got the captain? Whatever that rabbit was, he's dead now.
Come on, Silver. We have to know.
They bounded up the incline towards the woods. Soon they picked up the odor of fresh blood. It brought them to where the mangled rabbit lay. It wasn't Bigwig. It was even larger than Bigwig. And a fox had been at him. But Silver wasn't looking at the throat. He was staring at a scar on the body. An old scar.
It's the mark. This rabbit's from Ephrafa. So there's one of their patrols around here, somewhere.
And soon they'll find Bigwig.
Well, that's what you wanted, isn't it? It's a part of the plan.
Yes, Sergeant. It's a part of the plan.
It was late afternoon. General Woundwort, chief rabbit of the Warren of Ephrafa, was sitting up top, watching the squads being marched to and from the feeding grounds, a part of the daily routine. So much time allowed for eating, a certain amount for playing in the grass, and so on. He saw with satisfaction the orderly way in which the night patrols were assembling near the burrows, getting ready to take over from the day patrols when they returned. But now, a patrol was coming towards him. Captain Campion's patrol, and they'd got somebody with them, a stranger.
What's this, Captain? Another intruder?
This one, General, won't be running away, not if he's told me the truth.
I'm glad to hear that. There's been some disturbing signs of unrest since those last ones got away.
Well, this one wants to join us, sir. He says he's come a long way, looking for Ephrafa. He's pretty big, General. He looks like a fighter.
I can see him. Bring him closer.
Bigwig took his time in moving forward. His heart was behaving in a most peculiar manner, almost as if it had jumped up into his throat and had started pumping madly, loud enough to frighten the birds from the trees or awaken the dead. This moment was so terribly important. It was the first part of Hazel's plan. Find your way into their warren, he said. Make them accept you. Trick them. Get them to trust you.
What is your name?
Bigwig.
Bigwig, sir.
Bigwig, sir. Used to be in the Guards, I did. I know how to fight. I was a captain, you see, like him.
Yes. You look as though you can handle yourself. Where are you from?
5, 6 days south of here. Like me to show you how well I can fight? Like me to take on this fella here?
Captain Campion? No, that won't be necessary. Why have you come to us?
How long would a rabbit last on his own? A week if he's lucky. And, like I said, being one that enjoys a bit of a scrap, I reckon this warren would be just the place for the likes of me. So, here I am, sir. At your service, sir.
I see. Captain Campion, find him a place in one of the burrows.
Why, thank you, General. Thank you very much.
Go on, go on, go on. Follow Captain Campion. He'll tell you what to do.
Bigwig was led to a corner of the warren and told to wait. Within an hour, he was before the Ephrafa Council for assessment and inspection. But the old rabbits, once they saw the general was keen to have the newcomer, raised no objections, and his admission was a mere formality. He was ordered to return to his own burrow, where Captain Campion soon reappeared, bringing with him a burly, dull-looking rabbit.
And what's it this time?
You're to be marked. They've decided to put you in this squad, the left flank squad, so you won't have to move. Oh, this'll be your home from now on, Bigwig. A squat, please, and out with the left leg. Well out, nice and straight.
But what are you going to do?
I'm not going to do anything. He is. And did you ever see such a lovely set of teeth?
He's going to bite me.
That's right. Here, the mark has to be here. And don't worry, Captain Bigwig. We've all been through this, you know. Right. Now hold your breath. Now go ahead.
That's all? It's done?
It's done. It'll bleed a little. You just rest for a while. Well, Captain, now you're one of us.
Yes. Yes, that's right, I am, aren't I? Well, maybe I'll make up for the one you lost today. Anyway, I can do my best.
Well, he wasn't much loss. We never could rely on him. How did you know we lost a rabbit?
Oh, I saw him. I saw where a fox had been at him.
You were down there, near the river. But didn't you say you came from the south?
Yes, but I reckon I must have got astray somewhere. So I kept on, and I found the river, and then I doubled back again, and, well, I don't have to tell you what happened after that, I reckon. That's when your fellows grabbed me, didn't they? Oh, scared the life out of me, they did.
You were lucky that fox didn't get you. Well, now you get yourself some sleep. Good night.
Bigwig lay staring at the wall of the burrow, and he was trembling. He was no good at this kind of thing. Sooner or later, he was going to make another mistake. He'd got away with it this time, but what about the next time? He went over the plan once more.
Get into the warren. Find a doe called Heisenley, she can be trusted, and get her to round up any other females who might want to run away. See the best way to make the escape. Then let Kiha, the seagull, know when you're going to make the break. And he'll let Hazel know, and they'll be waiting. They'll all be waiting to help you.
He went over the plan again, then once more, step by step. And the next thing he knew, it was morning. Campion called for him, said something about this being an object lesson, and that he was acting under orders from the general, and led him through several tunnels, until they came to an alcove up near one of the entrances. Bigwig shivered when he saw what was sitting in that alcove. It was a mutilated rabbit. The ears were torn. One eyelid was misshapen, half closed. His gaze appeared to be fixed on the dirt floor of the burrow. At first, Bigwig thought it was asleep, or even dead. But now it lowered its head and slowly rubbed its nose with the two front paws.
This is the object lesson?
It is. Well, do you see, Blackavar? You have a visitor. Now, what do you say?
My name is...
Speak up, Blackavar. We're waiting.
My name is Blackavar. I am here so that all may see what happens to rabbits who are
ungrateful.
Ungrateful enough to try to leave Ephrafa, the normal punishment for which is death. But the council have been merciful to me. They have in their mercy... I can't, sir. I've said it so many times, but now I can't remember.
It was my patrol that brought him in, you know. Sometimes I think it would have been, well, kinder, if we'd finished him off up there. Blackavar, can you hear me? You must remember. You know what will happen to you if you don't remember.
Yes. Yes, sir, I think I know.
Well, Oh, come on, Captain, let's get away from here.
What will happen to him?
The moment he forgets his message, his warning, he'll have served his purpose. Anyway, he's half dead now. Moral: don't ever try to leave Ephrathah.
But why should anybody want to run away? If this is such a good warren, nice and safe...
Your general will tell you that some people don't know what's good for them.
And he does?
I didn't hear that.
Some people are so stupid they don't even know when they're happy. Is that it?
Not so loud. You're new, my friend. So let me tell you, you'll not change anything in Ephrathah. What do you want me to do? Go back and give you another look at Blackavar? Anyway, why should we distress ourselves, you and I? We're officers, aren't we? Members of the privileged class.
Sir, come back. Please come back. Come back and I'll try again.
Keep walking.
I remember it, sir. I do. I remember the message. Sir, please, sir.
Bigwig soon discovered that those privileges included free access to the entrance of the left flank burrow. He could go out and in whenever he wished. He then decided to exercise another of his advantages. He approached a sentry stationed not far from his sleeping place.
Bigwig. Captain Bigwig. There's a doe I'd like to see. Her name is Heisenley.
Heisenley? Ah, yes. I know Heisenley.
Have her sent to me, will you?
Certainly, sir. You're in luck, Captain. That Heisenley, oh, and what a pretty one she is. She's one of your own mark, Captain. That's right. Couldn't be handier, as you might say. Now, where would your sleeping place be? Now, you just be so good as to show me, sir, and we'll see what we can do.
She stood at the opening to his part of the burrow. She brought with her the smell of fear, but she came inside after a while. Bigwig waited until she was close, so close that their fur was touching.
Are you the doe called Heisenley?
Yes, sir. But this is a mistake, sir. There are times for mating, and this isn't my time.
No matter. Now stay close to me.
No matter? Then why am I here?
Keep your voice down. There was a Major Holly. He had a sergeant with him and 2 other rabbits, remember? Holly told me to ask for you, Heisenley.
To ask for me?
You know they were here. Don't you trust me? Look, I'm not a spy. I'm not going to betray you to the General and that blasted council of his. I want to help you, Heisenley. Now listen. He made you a promise, didn't he? And I can tell you what that promise was. He said, somehow, by some miracle, we'll come back to Ephrathah. Well, we've come back. I've come in his place.
He was very kind. He said he would take us away from Ephrathah.
And we're going to, if you'll help us.
Where are the others?
On the other side of the river. They're waiting for me to give the word. Well, what do you say?
But what do I have to do? How can I help you? We're being watched, you know. We, the young ones, night and day, wherever we go.
Round up the does who really want to escape. Talk it over with your friends. But they must be does we can trust, Heisenley.
Oh, that's just it. You've taken me unawares. I'm not sure that Well, you see, there are some I'm not sure about. My friend Nethilta, for instance. She's got a lively spirit and might say the wrong thing.
Then leave Nethilta out of this.
My friend? How could I? Anyway, what about the old saying, no secrets in a warren?
I know.
And once I begin talking to the rest of my friends...
Well, it just means you'll have to move quickly. Could you do that? Could you have all your friends together, ready to run for it by tonight?
Tonight?
Why not tonight? The longer we leave it, the less chance we'll have.
At what time tonight?
A moment after the sun goes down. Oh, don't you see, Heisenley? It's already started. I've told you why I've come to Ephrathah. I've told you where my friends are hiding. This thing has started now. We have to keep going.
Oh, yes. Yes, I can see that. Tonight, just as the sun sets. But where do you want us? Where should we be?
Up there. Now be as close as you can to the entrance to this burrow. Don't make a show of yourselves, but be nearby, ready to make a dash for it. Right?
I don't even know your name. The sentry who came for me, he said you were a captain, but...
It's Bigwig.
Well, Captain Bigwig, There'll be fighting, won't there?
Some fighting, for sure.
A lot of fighting. You've seen what our guards are like.
Oh, well, inside here, inside this barrow, I'll do what fighting has to be done. And outside, my friends will be there to help us.
Oh, you'll have friends inside as well, Captain. What's the matter? Don't you think does can fight? Oh, tonight we'll show you. Now, I must be going. They'll be wondering just what I am doing in here. Until tonight, then.
Until tonight. Find us some more highs and lays. Lots and lots of does as nice as yourself.
Oh, very well, sir. I'll see what I can do.
Bigwig scratched the back of his neck and laughed softly. Holy frith, does as nice as yourself. Did he really say that at his age? About time he knew better, he told himself. Then he went up top. It was unnaturally hot outside. There was thunder in the air, and wild creatures are uneasy when there's thunder around. There's a feeling of tension, of a threat to the natural rhythm by which they live. It had its own smell, thunder did, stronger than the scent of grass of the cattle not far away. It was the smell of clouds, dense black clouds building up, getting ready to burst without warning. Bigwig nibbled for a while, took a few hops forward, began nibbling again. Where was Kiha? Frith almighty, he was supposed to be there. Then the bird spoke from behind him.
Don't look around.
I'd begun to think you weren't coming. Tell Hazel it's tonight. Tonight as the sun goes down.
Tonight? Good. I will show them how to get here.
And they must move in at the very moment the sun drops down behind those hills over there, right? Not before, not after, but... Oh, anyway, I'll be outside. Like I am now, it'll be time for our evening meal. As the sun sets, I'll go back into the burrow, my burrow, the one where the does will be waiting for me. That's where the fighting will be. Now, have you got that?
They all hide. They watch you go into your burrow.
And when I come out again, I'll have the does with me. That's when they attack. And tell him it won't be easy. Tell him those fellows are tough.
I think he already knows that, my friend. But no trouble. You will win. You will win easily, I think, tonight.
Oh, I hope you're right.
Oh, of course you win. You got Kiha, you see. You got clever old Kiha, haven't you?
On the way back, Bigwig stopped at the ditch, where the Ephraim rabbits left their droppings to be covered. He found himself squatting next to the bedraggled, soon-to-die Blackavar. There and then, Bigwig knew what he had to do.
Blackavar.
My name is Blackavar. I am here so that all may see what happens to rabbits who...
Stop that.
Rabbits who...
Will you shut up and listen to me? Now, can you be somewhere near the top of the left flank barrow tonight, at sundown?
At sundown? Why?
I'll help you get away from here. Escape.
Nobody escapes from Ephraim. I tried.
I'm going to, and so will you. Now, just be there. And Blackavar, you betray me, and I'll kill you myself, do you hear?
Oh, I wouldn't betray you. I know what they do.
Good. Left flank barrow.
Tonight.
Tonight, Blackavar. If you want to go on living, be there, Blackavar.
That afternoon, Hazel brought his rabbits back across the bridge. With Kiha's help, they moved towards the warren of Ephraim, keeping close to the river. Not far from where the punt was moored, they turned away from the stream, crossed the iron road, and by the time the day was almost ended, they'd taken cover. The ditch was clearly in view, and in that ditch were the burrows, according to Kiha. He circled twice above them to make certain Hazel understood exactly where. Bigwig also watched Kiha, saw the snow-white wings gliding against a blue-black sky. The sun was about to go. He knew it was time. That was when...
Captain Bigwig, I'd like a few words with you. What's the matter? I took you by surprise.
Yes, sir. I didn't see you there.
Are you happy here at Ephrafa?
Why, yes, General. It's my kind of life. Military and all that. Plenty of discipline and... Well, nobody could say Ephrafa isn't organized, could they?
I trust not.
I mean, it's not like some warrens.
How many warrens have you known, Captain?
How many? Well, there was my old warren, the one I was born in. That was... I think that warren had grown tired, sir.
Our warren? Tired?
Yes, sir. Our chief rabbit was too old. Nothing ever changed. We just went on day after day doing the same things over and over. Though it wasn't much of a warren to be young in. I felt sorry for our youngsters because they...
What is it, Bigwig? What are you looking at? Not the sunset, surely. It happens every day, you know. Anyway, it's over. The sun has gone.
Yes. Yes, the sun has gone.
And the other warrens you've seen? I said, what other kinds of warrens have you seen?
There was one where they didn't have any discipline at all. Nobody was in charge. No chief, nothing.
No chief rabbit? Then they'd be lost.
They were lost. A farmer fed them. They called it the sweet life. Whenever he wanted a rabbit, he took one. Oh, that was a terrible, terrible place. There was no future for them either.
They don't deserve any. But here, Captain, you have a future. You know, we lost an officer yesterday. Perhaps you could replace him. He was taken by a fox. Ah, but then you found him, didn't you?
Oh, that one. Yes. Yes, sir, I did.
You didn't by any chance run into a party of intruders? Strange rabbits? One of our patrols came back today with a most extraordinary story of rabbits camped across the river. Frith knows what they're doing there, but a few were seen coming down to the water to drink. So I just wondered, seeing that you were around those parts yesterday...
Oh, I didn't see any strange rabbits, sir.
No, of course not. You would have told us, wouldn't you? Now, let's go back, shall we? It's getting quite dark. Wait. There was something else. Ah, yes. Did I actually see you talking with a seagull this morning?
A seagull, sir?
You were just over there, and this bird landed close to you.
Oh, but, sir, what would I mean, what could a rabbit have to say to a seagull?
I was only joking, Captain, but it did seem unusual. A seagull at this time of the year. We don't often see them in these parts. Most unusual, don't you think?
Bigwig crawled into his sleeping place. The plan had failed. By the time the general had left him outside the warren, the world had been in darkness, complete, utter, pitch-black darkness. Nobody, not Keha, nor Hazel, nor any of them, could have seen which burrow he entered. And if he did burst his way out, he'd be in darkness again, with the does, with Blackabar, perhaps, if Blackabar somehow found the courage. Hazel would go back to the far side of the river. It was all he could do. The whole thing was a mess, and he, Bigwig, was the biggest mess of all. He lay on his side in the dust, forelegs crossed, hind legs drawn forward close to his belly, a furry lump of misery.
Captain Bigwig.
Hazel,
Something terrible has happened. It's Nephilta. They've arrested her. Nephilta, the one I said always talks too much.
Oh, Frith, help us. How did this happen?
Oh, I don't know. Honestly, I don't. Oh, she must have said something that made the guards suspicious. She's not wicked, Captain. Truly she isn't. But she's silly. She says things without thinking.
How much does she know?
Oh, nothing about you. I didn't tell anybody about you. All I said was, be near the entrance when the sun goes down. Where were you, Captain?
The bastard general stopped me. I couldn't get away. He's suspicious. I know he is. There were too many questions.
Well, my friends are still out there, hiding in the shadows, any corner they can find. We didn't know what else to do. Nethilda will tell them, you see. Tell the council. And then they'll start rounding us up.
The does are still there. Then listen.
We can't hide in these burrows forever.
Remember what we said. Once we start, we have to keep going. Then that's what we do. Come on.
But your friends, the ones who were to have been out there, ready to fight the patrols, oh, everything's changed. Will they be there now?
No, I don't think so. Not now. They'd have to leave.
Oh, fighting a couple of sentries is one thing, but out in the open there'll be rabbits everywhere. The patrols will move in, and you know what that means.
Oh, you'll like Watership Down. Lovely high land where the grass is good and the air... Oh, somebody's coming.
Bigwig! Are you there, Captain?
Get back. Well back, out of sight.
There's hell going on, Bigwig. Where are you?
I'm here, Captain Campion. What's the trouble?
Oh, absolute hell. Among the females, the young ones, that is. It could mean a breakout, and it could be tonight. So orders from Council are double the guards. Sorry about this, but you'll be on duty a bit earlier than we expected. You're starting now.
And what do I have to do?
Your left flank mark, aren't you? Well, that's where you'll have to be, up there. Now follow me.
As they hurried up the slope of the burrow, Bigwig could hear the whispers, the rustling in the alcoves, could see the gleam of eyes that were watching him. Some, he thought, could be Heisenleigh's frightened does. Then again, some could be spies, sent to see what he, Bigwig, intended to do. Then he caught sight of Blackavar. He was huddled near the entrance, looking lost, half insane. He was dribbling, Bigwig noticed.
What's he doing here? Blackavar, get back where you belong.
My name is Blackavar. I am here so that
Oh, be quiet, will you? Well, Bigwig, I'll leave you to it. And get him out of the way. He's enough to give anyone the horrors.
You're leaving, Captain?
I've got my own burrow to look after. Anyway, you've got 2 sentries here. Good night. And good luck.
Good night, Campion. And goodbye, Frith Willing. Blackavar, come here. Now, come closer.
And not too close, Captain. That one he smells something awful, he does.
That bad, is it?
Take a sniff, sir. A real good sniff.
Oh, no doubt you've smelled worse.
Not me, Captain, unless it was a dead horse.
The thing is, Blackavar, how do you feel?
tonight, sir, for some reason, I feel pretty good.
Blackavar now did something that shocked Bigwig. He turned that eye, that cruelly mutilated eye, towards him, and he tried to wink. The result was so terrible that Bigwig felt a sudden choking rage. A rage against the general, the vicious old rabbits of his council, the entire system of Ephrafa that allowed such things to happen. That wink was all he needed.
Go for him, Blackavar. Let him have it and I'll take this one. Heisenleigh, here. It's now. Heisenleigh.
I'm here. Others are coming.
Keep them moving. It's now or never.
Go on, you doze on. You must.
Nobody goes back now.
Sir, couldn't we rest for a while?
Oh, we shouldn't, but... Oh, all right.
No, we're not used to this. We've never been so far from the burrows. It's dark, and we'll be quiet.
Are they all here?
We're all safe. 10 does, including me. Oh, but how are you?
Me? 10 does? Oh, I never felt better in my life. What about you, Blackavar?
Bigwig!
Kiha, at night? Flying at night?
They're coming. They're after you. You must keep running, Bigwig.
I knew it. They'll never stop until they caught us.
But we can't go back now. Kiha's right. There's nothing we can do but keep running.
They were home now, back at the warren, and Kiha, almost sadly, had returned to the great water at the end of the world. The last few weeks had brought them well into summer, when days are hot and still, and the massive white clouds move lazily above the downs. The beech leaves have grown darker on the boughs, and fresh grass is springing up where the old had been nibbled away. 5 kittens have been born. They were clovers, and all were healthy, and everything, Hazel decides, is going very, very nicely. He's lying in the sun, half asleep, when something comes out of the grass.
Hello, Hazel.
Oh, good morning. You know my name?
Never forget you, by Jiminy. Well, don't you remember?
Don't tell me. You're the one that...
That's right. Saved me from Kestrel, you did. Never I forget that. Never.
And how have you been? It's a long time since then.
Oh, some days are good, some days are bad. Like most people, eh? Little bird, she tell me you got yourself some mothers these days, yes?
We have, my friend. We certainly have. And the first batch of babies.
Good, good. Not long now, I think rabbits running everywhere.
We'll do our best.
And new rabbits, is it your friend too?
New rabbits? There's another warren here. Where? Where is it?
You not know, Hazel? Oh, they come last night. Over that way, on the morning side of the hill.
Perhaps. But perhaps they're just passing through.
Ah, not these rabbits. They digging and digging fast.
At which point, Holly and Blackabar came bounding past. Without stopping, they shouted 2 words, General and Ephrathah, and made straight for their burrows.
First we build it,
And now we destroy it.
It can be built again, Dandelion. And next time we'll have the does to help us.
You'll never give in, will you?
I hope not.
Oh, dear. But we are paying a price for our does, aren't we?
Well, haven't we paid a price for everything we've got from the moment we ran away from Sandalford? Well, what should we do? Give him back his females? Give him poor old Blackabar as well, and Bigwig? He made Bigwig one of his own, remember?
Hazel, quickly!
That's Heisenley.
Major Holly says, come and listen. They're up there. You can hear them. Oh, it's this way. I'll show you.
The general squatted above the warren, watching his rabbits at work. The light was bad, but he could see enough to give him the most intense satisfaction. He had been waiting for this moment since Bigwig had floated away in the rain. He remembered vividly how close they had been to taking the runaway in the confusion of the thunderstorm when he had blundered into Campion's patrol.
It's him, sir. We've got him.
You're a fool, Bigwig.
Now get away from me, Campion. Keep back.
A complete fool. How far did you think you'd get? You and those stupid does running away like that. Where are they?
I don't know. We lost each other in the storm.
My orders are to kill you. General's orders. Well, we found you now, haven't we? So we'll have to kill you.
Is that what you want, Campion?
What does it matter what I want? Get him, Bartzia. Take him!
The one called Bartzia sprang at Bigwig. Clutched together, they rolled on the ground, and Bigwig felt teeth sink into his shoulder. He thrashed violently, snarling, brought both back legs up deep into the other's soft belly, heaved with all the strength he had, and threw Bartzia to one side. He then stood over the fallen rabbit, saw him kicking helplessly in the mud. Free for a moment, he gave release to his feelings.
Frith sees you. You're not fit to be called rabbits. May Frith blast Ephrathah and its foul, bullying leader.
The lightning slashed through the sky on Bigwig's words, with the thunder right on top of it. The rabbits were frozen in fear for a moment, and it was all he needed to get away. He rejoined the does and got them moving toward the river. Then there was another flash of lightning, and facing him, Bigwig saw the general, drenched and plastered with mud.
So, Captain Bigwig, this is going to be my pleasure. I gave you your chance, a chance to be one of us, but you decided to run away. Not only desert, but... What's that? What is it?
Kia!
Get out! Go away! Leave me alone! Captain Campion, it's that bird! Campion, where are you?
Hello, Captain. What? Who is that? Silver! Sergeant Silver!
We found the does. They're with us. And poor old Blackabar. Now let's get away from here. It's going to be daylight before long.
say it was? Something called a boat. But what's it got to do with us? Why have we stopped here? I don't know. But I do have a feeling, Tenny. An awful feeling that...
All right, you doze. Don't be scared. Hop in.
Hop in? Into that thing? Why?
Heisenley, you know we can't stay here. See that sky? The sun's coming up, and here we'll be in full view. So we must... Hold your breath. Hazel, look behind you.
That settles it, doesn't it?
Oh, no!
In spite of himself, Hazel was impressed by what he saw. General Woundwort, surprised by Kihar, had been forced to retire. But he had regrouped his party and split them in two. One group led by him had been able to thwart the gulls' attack using the shelter of a ditch, and had now reached the river downstream of the boat. The other had gone upstream, and two groups of strong fighting rabbits were now bearing down on them from both sides. The general was still on the attack.
Get them in, Bigwig. Make them get in. They look to you as their leader.
They're afraid. Never seen a river before.
Oh, Frith, what's she doing?
Tenny, come back! Tenny, they'll carry you! Tenny!
The doe had panicked. She was streaking towards the woods, zigzagging as she ran, had almost reached the trees when Woundwort rose up in front of her. He struck a savage, raking blow across her face. She screamed and doubled back, ran blindly towards the boat, and, not knowing where else to go, sprang into it. And the other does followed. Hazel jerked at the rope. It snapped. Then he took the longest leap of his life, landing on a heap of struggling rabbits, and they glided out into the river.
Captain Bigwig, will you just take a look at the general, there in the mud, among the reeds?
He'd swim after us if he could, chip us into the water, then watch us drown. What kind of a rabbit is he?
This isn't the end of it, you hear me? I'll find you wherever you are. I'll hunt you down and then I'll destroy you. Destroy the lot of you, if it takes me the rest of my life. The rest of my life. I'll find you someday.
And now he had found them. The wide patrols had at last discovered the new warren, and the general looked forward to the settling of old scores. He watched his war party digging with eager anticipation.
We did this once before, Captain.
Went in from the top, sir.
In from the top. And that time I remember... forgotten the name of the tribe, but we wiped out the lot of them. You see, Campion, attacking a sealed warren through the burrows is an absolute waste of time.
I'd have thought, with the soil so soft.
Oh, it's soft enough, but what happens when you do break through? There'll be a rabbit in a narrow run trying to stop you, so you kill him. And there he is. There's his body blocking the tunnel. You can't get past him.
And by the time you drag that one out...
Some other rabbit who wants to be a hero takes his place. So then you kill him. And it just goes on and on. No, it takes too long that way.
Excuse me, General. How are you going over there?
Not so good, Captain. Seems we've struck a lot of roots. Big ones.
Then pick another place. Pick a place where there aren't any roots. We'll get them, Captain Campion. We're going to get the lot of them.
Sir, that Bigwig, he could have made a pretty good officer. He was strong, had plenty of courage.
He had his chance, Captain. He made his choice, did he not?
Yes, it's coming from here. Right here, above me. Listen.
When they've dug deep enough, this part's going to fall in.
Then get back, all of you. Pipkin, Fiver, did you hear me? Get well back.
Among the does and the babies.
You two aren't big enough to fight. Now do what I say. Go on, Pipkin. Keep moving. And you, Fiver. Fiver, what's the matter with you?
Can't you see what's happening?
Fiver, can you hear me? Fiver, wake up!
I see death. Rabbits dying. And a dog. I see a dog. And it's terrible. It's terrible.
For the love of Frith, can't you stop him?
How can I? When he gets like this...
Oh, but those does back there, they're scared enough as it is.
Dying rabbits. And the dog. The dog. Rabbits lying dead. And the dog.
After that, he lay still, eyes closed. He was in a stupor, and Hazel was puzzled. He sensed there was some message for him in Fiver's words, but what could it be? Then suddenly, for an instant, he saw clearly the small huddle of rabbits on the bank of a stream at dawn, listening to a dog barking in the wood above them. And at the same time he heard a voice.
I should go now if I were you. There's a large dog loose in the wood. There's a large dog loose in the wood.
While Hazel pondered what this meant, the digging above them was getting closer. They backed deeper into the burrow. He could hear Clover whispering to her kittens in her sleeping place, the alcove she'd carpeted with leaves, with soft fur she'd torn from her own belly. Clover! Seeing her had made him realize what he had to do. He made for the emergency exit, and he took the bewildered Blackberry and the equally bewildered Dandelion with him.
Captain Bigwig.
Keep out of this. Go back with the others.
But Fiver, you can't just leave him there.
With luck, they'll think he's dead. Nothing we can do now. Now get back behind me.
The trouble is, this warren wasn't built to be defended. In Sandalford, there was a tunnel so we could get below our enemies and attack from there.
That's it. Now, dig me in and cover me. And when the general comes, oh, if I can surprise him, we might have a chance.
Good. Now, this is where you wait, Blackberry. Now, stay right here. And when you hear them coming, you take over and you go like hell. You make a beeline for the warren. You got that? Good. Well, we'll be off then. You ready, Dandelion?
But it's crazy, Hazel. We'll never get away with it.
Won't we? Who says we won't?
I do. You just heard me say.
It's worth the risk, isn't it?
Oh, all right, if you say so. Let's be heroes. This is one of those nights when everybody starts being a hero, even me.
Bigwig could hear the scrabbling sounds, knew that the burrow was now exposed to the sky, and that someone was crawling down into their burrow. He couldn't see anything, but it came to him strongly, the smell of a stranger. He held his breath and waited. And then he lunged upward as he felt the general move above him, and his claws sank into the big rabbit's foreleg. Then leapt back.
You told me once to do something to impress you, General. I hope I have.
I also told you I would kill you myself. And there's no white bird here.
Hazel led Dandelion closer to the farmhouse. The last time he was here, he'd met disaster. The last time he was here, some man had shot him. In spite of himself, Hazel began to tremble. All he could do was pray that Dandelion wouldn't notice.
That's it. Over there. That box. And the dog will be inside that. Now, what I'll do is get on top of that box and chew through the dog's rope. You got that? Can I ask you something, Hazel? Just who do you think you are? Ella Ray Ra?
Oh, shut up and listen. When I've got through the rope, it won't be anywhere near as difficult as the one on the boat. When I've done that, you'll have to get him to follow you.
Oh, sure. It's the night for heroes, no doubt about that. I dance around in front of him and I say, look at me. Please, won't somebody chase me? And then, more than likely, I have a heart attack.
Just as Hazel had finished the rope, he saw a cat about to pounce on Dandelion. Instinctively, he thumped a warning.
Look out, Dandelion!
Then everything happened at once. The cat leapt, but Dandelion had already shot off. The dog saw him and immediately went in pursuit, jolting the kennel as he did so, and throwing Hazel to the ground on his weak leg. Then the cat was on him. At the warren, Bigwig, pressed flat to the ground, waited for Woundwort to attack. He listened to the shuffling in the sand, heard the claws dig deep, getting ready for the leap, heard the general take a deep breath, and was ready. Then the great body crashed onto his. Bigwig slashed with his feet, bit into an ear until he felt blood, bit again at the throat above him. Somewhere, they seemed to be miles away, does were screaming. Woundwort has freed himself. Bigwig is back on his feet. Both are bleeding, both are struggling for breath.
I could pardon you, Bigwig. I could let you come back.
To everyone,
Your kind of life.
An officer, and a good one, you'd live well.
My Ra wants me here, and here is where I stay.
You're, what did you say?
My Ra, Hazel Ra.
But I thought, you mean you are not the chief rabbit of this warren? I took for granted that...
The thought that there was an even bigger rabbit yet to be fought was a terrible blow to the general's morale. He had come off badly in this fight with Bigwig, and this new information made him doubt himself for the first time. And those up top, the more daring ones, had been listening. The word spread from rabbit to rabbit. That savage one, the warrior called Bigwig, had an even more savage chief, Hazel or something. Whatever his name was, when he arrived, What in Frith's name would he be like? What kind of a monster were they up against? Hop by hop they retreated from the hole in the ground. They sat in a wide circle and watched. Saw their general appear, saw him stagger a little. Captain Campion ran forward.
Sir, why don't you sit down?
No, can't do that. Bad for morale. Campion, stand somebody down there. He's as bad as I am. All it needs is someone to finish him off.
There's Vervain.
He'll do. Send him down.
Captain Campion! Look, sir!
Up out of the hole came not some fantastic, invincible Ra, but a thin, undersized creature that looked half asleep. He stood very stiffly, turning his head from side to side.
Not looking at us, but through us.
I am sorry for you. Some of you, many of you, will be dead soon. I've been told you'll never get back to Ephrathah, but will lie among the bushes, will be spread across Watership down, and then the crows will come.
Who is this runt? He's a maniac.
It's weird. The whole thing's weird.
But before the crows, there has to be the dog. The dog. And it's coming. It's here.
Come back. Where are you going?
General, he'll kill you. The general won't want you but to run.
Lucy was the farmer's daughter, and she'd had the mumps. But on this morning she awoke feeling a whole lot better. She climbed out of bed and padded across to the window, she always did that in lovely days, and looked down into the yard. Tabby was playing with something down by the kennel. Something... it was furry, and it was doing its best, poor thing, to kick back at her. Cats could be cruel at times, downright cruel. She forgot her slippers, forgot the overcoat she used as a dressing gown, and ran outside.
A rabbit, Lucy? A wild rabbit at that? Are you daft then?
Oh, but he's hurt, Dad. Oh, look at him, poor thing. And, Dad, he could make up for them 2 does I lost that night, the ones that got away somehow. Well, he could, Dad. Couldn't he?
Lucy, lass, wild rabbits, they don't take kindly to hutches. True they don't. Be dead in a week, he would.
Oh, sit still, Bunny. I ain't gonna hurt you.
Where he belongs rightly is in a pie.
Oh, Dad, don't. Oh, just look at the poor thing. Shivering he is.
As for that one, should have left him to Billy and Tabby, if you ask me.
Oh, no,
Running
Dad.
out there in your bare feet and you with the mumps and all. Now I got cows waiting to be milked. But we're not keeping no wild rabbits around here, Lucy, love. Wild rabbits, why then? They steal, that's what they do. Nothing but crooks, that's what they are.
Did you hear what I said? Now, what's the matter with you, girl?
Nothing.
Then wipe your nose. I don't know. Ask the doctor when he comes.
Dr. Ames?
Maybe he could fix him up.
Oh, do you think he could?
You know him. Fair soft he is about animals and such like. But listen, soon as that rabbit gets better, you turn him loose. Got that? Far enough away so as he can't come back here someday and pinch all me spring beans and whatnot.
Oh, but they gotta live, Dad. They gotta live somehow.
Not at my expense, they don't. Lord, Lewis, Tiger, and how did you get loose? And what the hell have you been up to?
Some weeks later, Hazel rejoined the Watership Warren. As far as the others were concerned, this was the second time he'd come back from the dead. And they told each other that the Lord Frith must love this rabbit, must love him very, very much to watch over him so carefully. But Hazel's limp, they noticed, was much worse, and he seemed quieter. He certainly looked a lot older.
Now you must tell me everything. I've been away so long, you see.
Everything? Oh, my goodness. Where do we start, Dandelion?
Start with the dog.
Ah, the dog. The killer.
Our plan, it would appear, did work.
Work? He cleared this place, Hazel. The Ephrafa rabbits ran like mad in all directions across the downs. And once they did that...
After that, it was horrible.
Oh, you know the 1,000, Hazel. Too good a chance to miss, eh? All them rabbits running round loose. So in they came, the foxes and their friends, and picked them off, one after another, whenever they felt like a feed. Oh, you'll find bones and bits of fur all the way from here to the valley down there.
Don't, Bigwig. That's enough.
Well, it's true, ain't it?
And the General?
Well, ask Fiver. He was there. It was strange in a way. The General was the one the dog went for first, as if he knew it was all the General's fault. And yet, I saw the General go down, but... We never found his body. It just wasn't up there.
So perhaps the General had escaped after all. Perhaps he was somewhere else in the world, striking terror into another bunch of rabbits, taking over, starting a new Ephrafa. It didn't bear thinking about. It was a fine, clear evening in mid-October, a long time later. Although the leaves remained on the beaches and the sunshine was warm, there were fewer flowers to be seen. Insects still danced in the bright air, but the swifts that had swooped for them were gone, and their screaming cries of triumph were replaced by the twittering of a robin from the top of a spindle tree. Summer was getting ready to take her leave. Hazel sat with Dandelion, watching Bigwig with the youngsters. A scarred, beaten-up old veteran, teaching new kittens old tricks.
Listen to that, Dandelion. Lots and lots of little ones. Little rabbits. Getting bigger. Growing up. Soon. It won't be long. Not long now. Their turn will come to look after the warren. Hazel, don't tell me you're asleep so quickly.
But it wasn't sleep that came to Hazel. And it wasn't the black rabbit. It was a stranger. And Hazel knew it was time to go. Because in the stranger's ears he'd noticed the faint trace of starlight.
You know me, don't you?
Yes, of course. Yes, my lord. You're Elerera.
You've been feeling tired, Hazel, but I can do something about that.
Would you care to join my warren as one of my officers? I'm sure you'll enjoy it.
As they moved away, they passed a doe with a group of kittens, and she was telling them a story about rabbits who had swum a stream, sailed down a river, and come safely through all kinds of danger. He listened from some distance, trying to remember where he'd heard the tale. Then it seemed to him that he wouldn't be needing his body any more. So he left it where it was. And once he'd done that, he could feel his strength and speed flowing inexhaustibly out of him into their sleek young bodies and healthy senses.
You needn't worry about them, Hazel. They'll be all right, and thousands like them. I'll show you what I mean.
He reached the top of the bank in a single powerful leap. Hazel followed, and together they slipped away, running easily down through the wood, where the first primroses were beginning to bloom.